Today we're going to talk about rates and unit rates. So our vocabulary is blank is a ratio that compares two quantities with different units of measure. And that's going to be a proportion. And blank, a rate in which the second measurement or amount 1 unit. That is your unit rate. So that second measurement is 1 unit. So examples of unit rate. So if we look at 14 feet per 7 seconds, in order for that to be a unit rate, the 7 seconds has to be 1 unit. So that would be 1 second. So that is not a unit rate. 25 miles over 1 gallon means 25 miles per gallon per 1. That second unit is 1. And then 3.50 ounces or $3.50 per ounce. When it doesn't have a number right here, that means 1. So per 1 ounce, the second unit is 1. So therefore, that is a unit rate. And then 6 necklaces per hour. So maybe this is someone who makes necklaces and they can make 6 in 1 hour. That is also a unit rate. That second measurement is 1. Here we have 80 miles in 2 hours. So I always like to write my ratios with the names first. So that would be miles over hours. And then in this particular one, we have 80 miles over 2 hours. So our unit rate wants 1 hour here. So if I write my problem, 80 miles, I'm going to put MI for miles, over 2 hours, we want to figure out how do I get 2 hours to 1 hour? And I don't know how many miles is in 1 hour. I know 80 miles per 2 hours. So what I'm going to do is say, how do I get from 2 to 1? What happens? It can't be adding or subtracting. So am I multiplying or dividing? And it would be I divide 2 by 2, and that gives me 1. So what I do to hours, I have to also do to miles. So 80 divided by 2 gives me my X miles. And then 80 divided by 2 we know is 40. So that would be 40 miles per 1 hour. That is your unit rate. Another way to do that, if we set it up the same exact way, 80 miles per 2 hours equals X per 1 hour, we can cross multiply. So I can have this, and these are our diagonals, so it would be 80 times 1, and then bring down your equal sign, and then 2 times X. 80 times 1 is 80, and then 2 times X is 2X, and then divide by 2, and X equals 80 divided by 2, which is 40. So that would be falling into an equation that way. This is probably the way that we will do it most often because it's using our proportion into an equation. So let's go to number 2. Number 2 says 28 points in 4 games. So our ratio would be 28 points over 4 games. And then we can write it with words to make sure we set up our proportion right. So our first thing would be points. Our second thing would be games. Okay, so then if I have 28 points and then I have 4 games, for a unit rate, we need games to be how many? If you said 1, you are correct, 1 game. And we don't know how many points this person scores per game if they score 28 in 4. So again, we could do the whole cross multiply thing where I grab my numbers. These are diagonals. And then I grab my other numbers and those are diagonals. And so then I have 28 times one game equals 4 times X. So these are the pinks right here. These are the pink numbers, and these were the yellow numbers. So then I have 28 times 1, which is 28. And then I have 4 times x, which is 4x. And then we know according to equations, this is multiplication. So we would divide on each side to solve, and x equals 7. So that would be that I would have 7 points per game, one game. And number 3, word problem. 18 cookies were eventually distributed between 3 people. What is the unit rate? So we're talking about cookies and we're talking about people. So if we have 18 cookies, we have 18 cookies and we have 3 people. We want to get people to 1. So that would be 18 cookies per 3 people is equal to, we don't know how many cookies over 1 person. We need 1 for our unit rate. So let's grab our pink numbers. Let's grab our yellow numbers. And so here we would have 18 times 1, bring down your equal sign, and 3 times x. 18 times 1 is 18, and 3 times x is 3x. Again, according to our rules of equations, this is multiplication, so I would divide to solve, and x equals 6. So that means our unit rate is 6 cookies per 1 person. Number 4, I want you to read and try to set up your words proportion to see what we're working with here. So at Price Right grocery store, apples are $2.20 for 4 apples. So here we're working with money and apples. So at Price Right grocery, it's $2.20 per 4 apples. Okay, and then at Always Fresh grocery, it is $4.40 for 10 apples. And this is what we like to call a better buy. So go ahead and write that on the top of this problem, better buy. Which store has the better buy? So we're going to compare prices. And in order to compare prices to see which store has the better buy, we have to have per 1. So we have 4 apples and 10 apples, and we need per 1 apple. So we're going to set these up in a proportion. So we're going to go $2.20 per 4 apples is equal to, we don't know how much money 1 apple is. And then I want you, we'll solve this and I'll let you solve the second one. So here we have our cross multiplication. So $2.20 times 1, bring down your equal sign, and then the other diagonal is 4 times x. This is $2.20 is equal to 4x. And then we divide by 4 on both sides, and x is equal to 2.2 divided by 4. Bring your decimal straight up. Does not go into 2. It goes into 22. 5 times minus 20 is 2 left over. And the 4 goes into 25 times again with 0 left over. So here it's 55 cents for PRG. So I want you to set up the proportion for AFG, solve it, and then determine and write down which one is the better buy. So you should have gotten that Always Fresh grocery is 44 cents per unit. So your final answer is, let's pick a different color, Always Fresh grocery. And that is it. Please make sure you write down if you have any questions so that you can ask in class.